Hello, everybody. We've got Jimmy Carr opens up about how comedy gets him through tough times. This is the Rob Brydon podcast thing. I imagine he started through the pandemic or something. A lot of people started podcasts from their own home and Zoom meetings in the pandemic. I don't know when this started, but whatever. And I figured this could be interesting and, fun to see how Jimmy Carr talks about his own comedy and stuff, if that comes up, because since his stuff is like offensive or whatever, I thought it'd be fun. And we are going to see if I enjoy this video, but the question is if I enjoy it as me or if I enjoy it as a worm. So we're gonna figure that out later. But for now, let's do this.
I'm finding that as I get older, I used to hear people saying, oh, it must be exhausting on stage. Because I move around a bit, and as you said, I make some stuff up within it. There's usually a musical element now, da-da-da-da-da, I'm up and down. So there's a physicality to it. But I'm finding now, I'm 55, that, yeah, a show does take it out of you. And the mental side of it, you're pretty bloody focused.
I suppose that thing of like going... what's the difference between a funny guy in life and being funny professionally is being able to sort of turn it on and go, right, I'm on a panel show, I will deliver now for the next 3 hours.
Yeah, and also doing it no matter what's going on in your life.
That's the time when comedy pays out. I always think it's a very sad thing. If there's 1,000 people in a theatre, I always try and think about the people that really need it.
Yeah.
Like, if there's 1,000 people there, most of them, I'd say at least 950 are doing great. They've bought tickets to a comedy show because they think you're funny anyway. So there's a high before the high, and then they come to the show with the intention of laughing. You're preaching to the choir. But then I always think there's a bunch of people there, 5%, 10%, whatever it is, that are having a bad day.
Yeah, yeah.
That have lost someone in the last sort of 6 weeks or something. That especially, when we go back out post-pandemic, that have had a really grisly time and kind of need this. And actually, in my life, the times when humour has really had a benefit have been the very rough times.
Yeah.
Remember when my mother died, going back on stage, and it was a 20 minutes back then, 20 minutes kind of respite from grief, because you were on stage and your conscious mind was too busy.
Yeah.
With being on stage, the kind of the adrenaline of it, you were too busy doing that, and then you come off and kind of flump afterwards. Right. But it was a really nice thing to have a bit of a break. Do
you sense when you look at an audience that the vast majority, hey, come to see Jimmy, fantastic, this is my experience. But there's going to be a percentage that are there either because someone at work couldn't go, so do you want to have the ticket instead? Or it's the partner of the fan who's come along. And...
Oh, no, a third of my income is from people that don't like me. Oh, no, 100%.
Okay, wait. I have two things to touch on. First, the thing where you said, about being on stage and you get distracted about your personal life, and it's really hard to, turn it on and stuff. For those of you that do not know, I work at a theater on weekends, and my brothers and I have a long-standing show. And I get on stage sometimes. First of all, I fill in. My brothers are one of my brothers is the main guy that does the main, whole show on stage and a lot of stuff. And I go on stage every once in a while. Well, actually, I go on every night. But little announcements. I'm not acting or anything. I do my thing, but it's just little announcements. Don't you turn off your phones, and if you got to get up, just the little things where the exits are. Just the safety precautions. Just that kind of stuff is my job. But every once in a while, when he's not there, I have to fill in for him. And oh my God, stage fright is freaking real. I've done it several times, and I still get freaking nervous. I hate that. But anyway, the point about it, you just kind of got to click off your personal life and get on stage. My brother's been suffering some digestive things and stuff. He's getting several tests done and this. At first, they didn't know if it was an ulcer or what it was and stuff. So sometimes he's got his stomach that's way hurting really bad, and you can see it on his face that he just is But while the people I'm getting the people in and stuff. And they're all sitting down and just happy about it and stuff. You can see him backstage just kind of suffering and just his stomach hurts. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know if he should, buy something to drink. He doesn't know if he can eat, if it'll make it worse. And you just see him just really suffering. And there are a lot of times where I go up to him and like, hey, you want me to, cover your part this time? Or are you up to it? And he's like, I'll be fine. And you can see on his face just dread and just like pain. And he does not want to be there. He just wants to be at home in bed, blah, blah, blah. And when it's showtime, boom, he clicks on, puts a smile on, goes on stage. Hello, everybody. And it's so weird to see that click and see how well he does it, knowing he was just completely suffering backstage. And he does it really well. He hides it very well. Nobody ever like asked him, dude, are you okay? Or anything. Like, he hides it very, very well. And then immediately, boom, when he's done and he has to go backstage again, it's just like immediately fades and just and he goes back to suffering. So the people that can do that kind of click is just, I think it's really cool. It speaks volumes about professionalism and all that, and I think it's very cool that people have the ability to draw energy from where they don't have it, just to the show must go on. And the second thing I wanted to touch on, I don't remember anymore. Oh, yeah, he said 1/3 of my income. He said 1/3 of my income comes from people that don't like me or whatever. And it reminded me, I read a long time ago that I can't remember what his name now was, but the guy that managed Elvis Presley, like all his press and stuff, they sold like shirts and buttons and all that stuff they sold at that time, that with the I heart Elvis Presley or I love this or whatever. But the same guy also made a small fortune selling the opposite, selling I hate Elvis Presley merchandise and I hate him, or Elvis Presley sucks and all that. And all the money went, to Elvis. So I thought that was really cool. When I read that, I was like, smart guy. So, yeah, you gotta get... You gotta get the money from wherever you can, man. Just make the most of opportunities.
I remember
anyway,
that
sorry.
From people that don't like me.
Tangents. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, no, 100%. I remember that sometimes you've got to be careful, because sometimes on stage, I look around at people. I always like the house lights up a little bit. I like to be able to see people's faces. I like to be able to, some people don't like that at all. They want pitch black. I like to be able to see people's faces, see if they're laughing, see what works. Sort of, it's better for your timing, I think, that visual thing of hearing with your, like, what's going on. And you always identify a couple of people that are very stony-faced. In Montreal, doing my first hour in Montreal, I remember it was like me and Zach Galifianakis had the same room. We were both doing hours sort of back to back, and I did an hour, and there was about maybe 200 people in, not a huge room. There's a guy in the front row just...
Wait, I'm thinking, I know that name. Zach, something I can't pronounce. Galifianakis or whatever. I know that name. I know who that person is, but the face is not coming. Zach Galifianakis. Okay, got him.
Stony, maybe we were both doing hours sort of back to back, and I did an hour, and there was about maybe 200 people in, not a huge room. There's a guy in the front row just stony-faced, looking at me. Just give me the stink eye all the way through. And the show went great. And then afterwards, I was like, it really bothered me. And afterwards, I was walking out, and he was in the lobby. And I thought, this guy's going to be offended by something or whatever. Great. I'd love to have a word with this guy. And he comes up to me and he goes, I born Italy. I grew up in Basel. English my fourth language. I really have to concentrate, but you're the best. I love you the most.
Wow.
And it was like, I was.
I love that. I absolutely love that. That is awesome. I'm gonna share another personal story. So, if you don't like it, too bad. But my brother told me that when, we moved here like 18 years ago, and we didn't really speak Spanish. We had to kind of learn. And me being the youngest, I learned extremely fast, extremely well. And to this day, it's been years, but for, years and to this day, people, if they hear me speaking Spanish, they do not realize that I am not from here. Which is actually, really interesting. But my brothers never caught on. They still have this really thick accent and stuff. And they have, like, a denial of learning Spanish properly and stuff. So, like, their whole world and their whole bubble, if everything can be in English, they'll have it in English. Like, they both sought friends if a friend didn't know English, can't be friends. Like I don't know why, they just kind of close their worlds to that. And my older brother told me that once, like years ago, several years ago, when the language was quite newer to him, he had a girlfriend that obviously she spoke English, and she took him to a comedy show. First of all, Argentinian comedy is just like, it's pretty bad. But anyway, took him to a show, and I guess it was a small venue, and he didn't really understand anything or most of it, and he told me that the comedian called him out. Like, dude, you're not laughing at any of my jokes. What's wrong with you? And he was like, I don't understand any of it. And he told me it was like a really horrible, awkward experience. But like the comedian that was on stage was like so offended that he wasn't laughing. He like literally called him out and asked him what his problem was. And I always thought that was just hilarious, dude. That's really funny. That's
all the best. I love you the most.
Wow.
And it was like, oh, I was all keyed up for the guy to go.
Yeah.
You're terrible.
So which means that, we can get it wrong. You are brilliant at comebacks to heckles. I'm guessing that after a while, the heckles you've heard them all, basically.
The idea that when you're in a room, let's say there's 1,000 people come and see you at a theatre in Inverness, they all share your sense of humour.
Yeah.
There's an incredible kind of, and you kind of go, it's such a waste that they don't get to say anything. you know that there are great stories out there.
Yeah, yeah.
The audience members might not be able to carry a show, but there's great little stories, there's great vignettes, there's great little things.
And sometimes you'll get a damn witty heckle, I mean, I've had that. I've had some where I've just applauded and I've said that might be the funniest thing you hear all evening. There are funny people out there, but thank God
and
most
kind
of them.
Empowering them to join in is lovely.
Yeah, yeah.
That was good. This is Joe Brand. I've been learning. Not a lot of people like her. James looks weird with short hair. Anyway, I like this little podcast thing. It's cool to get to see like a more serious or more normal side of comedians and stuff, and just like their thoughts on certain subjects and stuff. When it's not even behind the scenes. It's behind their curtains and behind their their front and what they think, and I just think it's really cool. So very cool to have these kind of interviews and stuff. Anyway, I don't know if this was a laugh per se, but I enjoyed it and I hope you did too. I mean, it can't all be about the funny. Even the funny people sometimes sit down and just have a normal chat, and I appreciate that as well. Anyway, guys, I really want to go to a live show, like anybody I've been watching, whether it be, Jimmy or whether it be Peter. Peter Kay would be amazing. I heard that when he did his new shows, it sold out like that. Everybody was just, I also heard he got like a mega standing ovation when he got back and started crying and stuff, got all emotional. It would be so cool to be part of something like that. And alas, I'm stuck in a country where not only stand-up isn't really big, there's no comedian that's like, oh my God, everybody knows him, he's amazing. No, they all just kind of suck. But oh well. Anyway, someday, I got so many dreams. There's so many places I want to see. There's places I want to live. There's places I want to, stuff I want to do and things I want to see and stuff I want to experience. And one experience I would love is to go to a really good comedy show. But anyway, for now, this is it. I was going to say I must depart, but that sounds like I'm going to die. So I'm just going to leave. I'm going to leave, depart to the living room or the kitchen area and eat a snack or something, normal. Bye, people.